We're going to walk you through the installation of the J&L oil separator for your F-150. Included in the J&L kit is a fully assembled oil separator with quick connect fittings, a mounting bracket, and some mounting hardware. So quickly going over this mounting hardware, you're going to have some mounting bolts that will be used with every installation, some screws that will be used with every installation. These nylon lock nuts will only be used for 21 and up F-150s. These J-clips, the threaded clips, will be used for 2011 to 2020 F-150s. And then this plastic plug is only used for supercharged 5-liter V8 F-150s, and typically only the Roush and early Whipple. So if you don't have one of these, you can just toss this. The tools you're going to need for installation is a 10mm socket, an extension, and a ratchet. 21 and up owners will need a 10mm wrench also, Phillips head screwdriver, and then a drill with a 1/4-inch drill bit. Let's get started. Now this F-150 we're working on today is a 2019 with the 3.5L EcoBoost. The engine cover on this is secured by two 10mm nuts located here and here. We'll need to remove those nuts to pull this engine cover up. Some of the earlier 3.5s were just a pull cover, and then most of everything after 2017 has nuts securing the cover. Got the nuts out of the way, pull up on the cover and pull forward. Now we need to locate our PCV line, which is here from the intake manifold to our PCV valve. We need to remove this line. There is a blue tab on the back side of this fitting. Sometimes they're gray. You just pull the tab away from the fitting and pull up, and then we can rotate our line around. We have the similar tab here on the intake. We're going to pull that away and pull the fitting off of the intake manifold. Give you a closer look. This is the tab you pull away. You don't need to press it very hard, don't break it. Just pull it away and then pull the fitting off. Now for our mounting location for our bracket, you'll notice this small harness here is actually secured to this battery tray by a small push pin. Now you can put a push pin puller underneath that and pull up, or you can just grab it on both sides and wiggle it out. It will pull out like so. Again, just a push pin into the single hole. This is one of our mounting holes for our bracket. Okay, for the time being, we're going to push this harness right behind here. Again, if you have an 11 to 20 truck, you're going to use the supply J-clip, and you're going to slide that right over that hole. That's going to give us our threaded hole to mount our bracket. Now we're going to take our mounting bracket. This is going to be our outside hole. Get your bolt started through there. Don't pinch your wiring harness. You're just going to get that bolt started and mostly secured. You should be able to run this in just about by hand, but you may need to grab your 10mm socket. And we're going to use our bracket here after we square it up, and we're going to make a mark. So grab something to mark your hole. I have a Sharpie here, and again I'm going to try to square up. I'm going to make a mark, and now when I move this bracket out of the way, I have a spot for my drill to go. Go and get on your mark, drill that through, slide your bracket out of the way, and slide your next J-clip into place. And now we're going to thread our second bolt through. And we're just going to snug that up. It doesn't need to be crazy tight. You don't want to compromise the bracket. And that is now in place. Now we're going to take our oil separator. Something I want you to pay close attention to is the hose routing here. Okay, you see this hose has a natural curve to it. as does this one, because they come on a large reel, so it always has a natural bend to it. Everything's adjustable, okay? So if you needed to move this hose, if the natural bend was going the other way, you could twist this hose on this fitting. It might be stiff to break free initially, but it will break free. Same thing, these quick connect fittings, they spin, okay? So, you know, everything's installed by humans here and assembled by humans. And being this fits so many different trucks, they may not be facing the optimum direction for your truck. So, number one thing we need to do is, we know this hose needs to loop down and go up to the valve cover, so I'm going to start it like completely vertical. And then our hose here we'll probably have to play with, but we're going to be coming around from the back side and plugging onto the intake, and our fitting is going to be facing towards the back of the engine. So I'm going to use my natural curvature this way, and if I need to adjust it once mounted, I will. All right, so grab your supplied screws and let's get this aligned to the bracket and start our screws by hand. Once we have them started, go ahead and tighten them up with our Phillips head screwdriver, and you can snug those down. So our hose to our PCV is going to be this fitting here with the 90. So we're going to tuck this back. Our engine cover has a hole here over this the high pressure fuel pump. So our hoses are going to route right in this area to get underneath the engine cover. Okay, so we need to push that back. And you can see, like right now, my fitting's not in an ideal location. It's pointing towards the back of the engine. So I'm going to twist that down to make that connection nice and easy. Okay, so we have that there. And then our intake, again, our line is going to come down and around and through this hole. So we're going to use our natural curvature here, and we're going to feed this back towards that area. And right now my fitting is facing the correct direction where I wanted it, to the back. If for whatever reason my fitting was this way, that's not going to work. And you can't, if you twist the hose, you're going to kink it, and then you're going to be in a world of trouble. So make everything so it lays out as nicely as possible. Everything moves. So plug that onto there. We have both hoses going around the high pressure fuel pump. Now that those are connected, and now we just need to refit our engine cover. Okay, our engine cover, you'll notice those two gray C looking channels are going to lock into here on the cover. So we need to slide our cover back into those grooves. And then it's got to go around our oil fill cap. And then down onto our studs. Okay, so we see that into place. And what I want you to pay close attention to is where these hoses are coming through. See, they're both going through this back channel here. There's plenty of space there for the hoses. You can see our cover is bottomed out. So now we'll just reinstall our two 10mm nuts, and that'll complete our installation. So now just check over your harness, tuck it behind your tray so it's not chafing on anything. Check your hoses. If your hose, you know, is twisted and this seems like it's putting this hose at an awkward bend, again, everything rotates. You can relax things. Those are just common installation errors that we see. But just double check everything, make sure nothing's kinked. The default can holds 3 ounces of fluid. Your average F-150 is about an ounce of fluid or so every 1,000 miles in most climates. If you live in a cold weather area, you know, Michigan, Midwest, Canada, so on and so forth, upper New York, you will get some condensation buildup in these cans in the winter months, where your collection rate will all but double, if not worse, depending on how cold it is and how you drive the vehicle. If you do a lot of short trips where everything doesn't get completely up to temperature, you'll get some water buildup in these things. So you want to keep an eye on this. I would recommend you check it at 1,000 miles after driving it, after installation. If you live in a cold weather area, check it more frequently. If you want additional capacity, we do have an extension available that doubles the capacity from 3 to 6 ounces. and it screws right in between the top of the oil separator and the reservoir. Can be added at any time. It's very easy to do. So if you have any questions, please reach out. This installation covers, again, pretty much 2011 to 21's the battery trays moved to a 45-degree angle, but is a very, very similar installation, other than you use the nylon lock nuts for your mounting. So if you have any questions, reach out. Be happy to help, and we'll see you on the next one.